November 2025 ignites Leo's inner fire with cosmic shifts that demand bold choices and emotional clarity. This month, the spotlight turns inward, revealing truths, testing loyalties, and awakening your creative power. Get ready to roar through transformation as destiny calls you to lead with heart, courage, and unapologetic authenticity. Chapter 1, November 1st to 10th. Awakening through connection. Let's talk about the planetary players shaping this decade. First, Neptune is trining Leo Decan 1, which includes those born between July 23rd and August 2nd. This transit has been active since March and will continue into 2030, but in early November, its influence becomes especially poignant. Neptune, the planet of dreams, illusions, and spiritual depth, is casting a gentle, shimmering light over your chart. This isn't about confusion, it's about elevation. You're being invited to rise above the noise and connect with something more profound. Your intuition, your ideals, your soul's voice. This trine softens your edges. It dissolves ego-driven urgency and replaces it with a yearning for meaning. You may feel less interested in external validation and more drawn to inner truth. For Leo, a sign ruled by the sun and known for its radiant presence, this can feel unfamiliar, but it's essential. You're not dimming your light, you're refining it. Neptune's influence here is like polishing gold. It doesn't reduce your shine, it makes it divine. Simultaneously, Uranus is sextiling Leo Decan 1, adding a spark of electricity to this dreamy landscape. Uranus is the planet of innovation, rebellion, and sudden change. Its sextile is a supportive aspect, meaning it's offering you tools, not tests. This transit encourages you to break free from outdated patterns, especially those tied to identity and self-expression. You may find yourself experimenting with new ideas, perspectives, or even aesthetics. The key here is authenticity. Uranus doesn't want you to conform, it wants you to evolve. Together, Neptune and Uranus are creating a rare blend of mysticism and momentum. You're not just dreaming, you're dreaming with purpose. You're not just changing, you're changing with vision. This is a powerful time to recalibrate your inner compass. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me now? What am I ready to release? What am I ready to become? Now let's look at the Sun, your ruling planet. Until November 16th, it's moving through Libra, activating your third house of communication, learning, and local environment. The Sun in Libra is diplomatic, curious, and socially attuned, but it's also in its fall here, meaning its power is somewhat diminished. For Leo, this can feel like a dimming of your usual charisma. You may not feel as seen or celebrated as you'd like. But this isn't a punishment, it's a pause. The universe is asking you to listen more than speak, to observe more than perform. This third house activation is ideal for refining your message. What do you want to say to the world? What truths are ready to be shared? With Neptune enhancing your imagination and Uranus sharpening your originality, your voice is becoming a vessel for transformation. Whether you're writing, speaking, or simply thinking, your ideas are infused with cosmic resonance. Mars, meanwhile, is in Scorpio all month, activating your fourth house of home, roots, and emotional foundations. Mars in Scorpio is intense, strategic, and deeply driven. In this early phase of November, its energy is simmering beneath the surface. You may feel a growing urge to confront unresolved emotional patterns or assert yourself in private matters. This isn't about conflict, it's about clarity. Mars is helping you reclaim power in areas where you felt disempowered. It's urging you to fortify your inner sanctuary. This combination of transits, Neptune's dream, Uranus's spark, the Sun's recalibration, and Mars's emotional drive, creates a multidimensional experience. You're being stretched in multiple directions, but all roads lead inward. This is a time for sacred introspection, for aligning your outer life with your inner truth. Energetically, the first 10 days of November feel like a cosmic breath. It's not a sprint, it's a slow, deliberate inhale. You're gathering insight, shedding illusions, and preparing for deeper transformation. The universe is whispering, don't rush. Just listen. For Leo, a sign that thrives on action and visibility, this may feel like unfamiliar terrain. But trust it. The stars are not asking you to dim, they're asking you to deepen. Your light is evolving from bright to brilliant, from loud to luminous. As we close this chapter, remember, the first decade of November is about awakening through connection, not just with others but with yourself, your purpose, and your cosmic blueprint. The transits are subtle but powerful, and if you honor them, they'll guide you toward a more authentic, empowered version of you. Chapter 2, November 11th to 20th. Inner Fire Meets Domestic Shifts. Leo, as we enter the second chapter of November 2025, the cosmic tone shifts dramatically. The subtle whispers of early November give way to a deeper, more intense rhythm. This is where the fire beneath your surface begins to stir. And it's not just passion, it's power. The planetary transits now demand emotional honesty, strategic action, and a fearless confrontation with your roots. Let's begin with the most dominant force, Mars in Scorpio, which continues its transit through your fourth house of home, family, and inner foundations. Mars is strong here. It rules Scorpio, and when it moves through this sector of your chart, it doesn't play nice. It digs. It exposes. It demands resolution. For Leo, this can be a challenging placement. You're used to expressing yourself outwardly, radiating confidence and warmth. But Mars in Scorpio turns the spotlight inward. It asks, what's unresolved in your emotional core? What ancestral patterns are still shaping your decisions? Or have you given away your power in private spaces? This transit activates a kind of emotional excavation. You may feel a surge of energy to confront family dynamics, restructure your living situation, or reclaim control over your personal life. But Mars in Scorpio isn't impulsive, it's strategic. This isn't about dramatic outbursts, it's about calculated transformation. You're being asked to become the architect of your emotional foundation. Tear down what's unstable. Reinforce what's sacred. Build something that can hold your evolving identity. Simultaneously, on November 16th, the Sun enters Scorpio, joining Mars in your fourth house. This is a significant shift. The Sun is your ruling planet. It governs your vitality, your identity, your sense of self. When it moves into Scorpio, it loses some of its visibility. Scorpio is a sign of depth, secrecy, and intensity. For Leo, this can feel like being pulled into shadow. You may feel less seen, less celebrated, less externally validated. But this is not a loss, it's a recalibration. The Sun in Scorpio invites you to explore the parts of yourself that don't need applause. It's about authenticity, not performance. You're being asked to shine in the dark, to illuminate your own truth, even when no one's watching. This transit supports deep healing, emotional maturity, and spiritual growth. It's a time to honor your inner light, even if the outer world doesn't reflect it back. Together, Mars and the Sun in Scorpio create a powerful duo. They're activating your emotional core, challenging you to confront what's hidden, and empowering you to transform it. This is not surface-level astrology. This is soul work. And for Leo, it's essential. You cannot rise fully until you've rooted deeply. You cannot lead authentically until you've healed internally. Now let's revisit Neptune and Uranus, which continue their supportive aspects to Leo Decan 1. Neptune's trine enhances your spiritual sensitivity, making this a potent time for inner reflection, meditation, and intuitive exploration. You may find that emotional insights come not through logic, but through dreams, symbols, and synchronicities. Trust them. Neptune is guiding you toward a deeper understanding of your emotional landscape. Uranus, meanwhile, continues to sextile your chart, offering breakthroughs and liberations. In this middle phase of November, its influence may manifest as sudden clarity about your past, an unexpected realization, a shift in perspective, a release of emotional baggage. Uranus doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes your perception. And when paired with Mars and the Sun in Scorpio, it becomes a catalyst for emotional freedom. Energetically, this decade of November feels like a descent. Not into darkness but into depth. You're being pulled inward, downward, into the roots of your being. It may feel intense, even uncomfortable. But it's necessary. The universe is preparing you for a rebirth, and this is the gestation phase. You're not being buried, you're being planted. This period also activates your ancestral line. The fourth house governs family, heritage, and emotional inheritance. With Mars and the Sun here, you may feel called to explore your lineage, confront generational patterns, or redefine your relationship with your origins. This isn't about blame, it's about empowerment. You're being given the tools to rewrite your emotional story. For Leo, a sign that thrives on visibility and expression, this chapter may feel like a retreat. But it's not withdrawal, it's recalibration. You're gathering strength, clarity, and emotional integrity. You're fortifying your foundation so that when the time comes to rise, you'll do so with unshakable authenticity. As we close this chapter, remember, the middle of November is not about external achievement, it's about internal alignment. The cosmos is asking you to confront, to heal, and to transform. The fire is within you. The power is yours. The time is now. Chapter 3, November 21st to 30th, Rebirth and Realignment. Leo, the final stretch of November 2025 is where the tide turns. After 2 intense decades of emotional excavation and inner transformation, the energy begins to shift outward again. But this isn't a return to your old self. It's a re-emergence, a rebirth. The cosmos has stripped away what no longer serves you, and now it's time to realign with your essence, your joy, and your creative fire. The most notable transit in this period is Mercury's entry into Sagittarius, activating your 5th house of self-expression, creativity, romance, and joy. Mercury in Sagittarius is bold, curious, and unfiltered. It speaks truth, seeks meaning, and refuses to be confined. For Leo, this is a welcome change. After weeks of introspection and emotional intensity, your mind is now lit with inspiration. Ideas flow freely. Your voice returns with clarity and conviction. You're ready to speak, to create, to play. This 5th house activation is significant. It's the house that naturally resonates with Leo energy. It's where you shine brightest. With Mercury here, your thoughts turn toward passion projects, artistic pursuits, and heartfelt connections. You may feel a renewed desire to share your talents, to flirt with life again, to embrace the joy of being seen. But this isn't superficial attention-seeking, it's soul-level expression. You've done the inner work. Now you're ready to radiate from a place of authenticity. Meanwhile, Mars continues its journey through Scorpio, still stirring your emotional depths. But now, instead of feeling heavy or overwhelming, this energy becomes fuel. You've faced your shadows. You've confronted your past. Now Mars becomes your ally, driving you to protect what matters, to act with purpose, and to channel your emotional intensity into meaningful action. This is a powerful combination. Mercury ignites your mind, Mars empowers your will. Together they make you unstoppable. The Sun remains in Scorpio until the very end of the month, continuing to illuminate your 4th house. This means that while your creative fire is reigniting, your emotional foundation is still being refined. You're learning to balance inner security with outer expression. You're discovering that true confidence doesn't come from applause, it comes from alignment. The more grounded you are in your truth, the more magnetic your presence becomes. Let's not forget the ongoing influence of Neptune and Uranus, still harmonizing with Leo Decan 1. Neptune continues to soften your edges, inviting you to dream bigger, love deeper, and trust your intuition. Uranus keeps shaking loose the old structures, making space for innovation and freedom. These outer planets are working in the background, shaping your long-term evolution. In this final decade of November, their influence becomes more integrated. You're no longer resisting change, you're embodying it. Energetically, this period feels like a sunrise after a long night. There's a sense of clarity, of momentum, of possibility. You may feel called to take risks, to say yes to something bold, to step into a new version of yourself. And you should. The universe is supporting your expansion. The only thing that can hold you back now is fear, and you've already faced that. This is also a time for celebration. Not necessarily in the external party sense, though that's certainly possible, but in the deeper sense of honoring how far you've come. You've navigated emotional storms, confronted inner truths, and emerged with greater wisdom. That deserves recognition. That deserves joy. The 5th house also rules romance, and with Mercury here, conversations around love may take center stage. You may feel more flirtatious, more open, more willing to express your desires. If you're in a relationship, this is a great time to reconnect through shared adventures or creative collaboration. If you're single, your magnetism is on the rise. Just be mindful of clarity in communication. Mercury in Sagittarius can be blunt. And while honesty is powerful, it's best delivered with warmth. Creatively, this is a golden window. Whether you're an artist, a performer, a writer, or simply someone with a story to tell, the muse is calling. Don't wait for perfection. Don't second-guess your voice. Just create. Just share. The world needs your light, Leo, and now you're finally ready to shine it. As November draws to a close, you may feel a sense of completion. Not in the sense that everything is resolved, but in the sense that you've crossed a threshold. You've moved from introspection to expression, from shadow to light, from contraction to expansion. You've been reborn, not as someone new but as someone more fully yourself. This is the essence of Leo's November 2025, a journey from the depths of emotional truth to the heights of creative liberation. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. You are not the same person you were at the start of this month. You are wiser, braver, and more aligned with your soul's purpose. And now, as December approaches, you carry with you the fire of transformation. Let it guide you. Let it warm others. Let it remind you that even in the darkest seasons, your light is never lost. It's only waiting to be reborn.